guess I get to kick it off.
Go for it.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. It is so wonderful to be among such great organizations. My name is Jackie Schlegel, and I am the Executive Director of Texans for Medical Freedom. In these brief moments that we share together, these organizations will be talking with the state, with voters, and other organizations about the successes that are occurring under Governor Abbott's leadership. From a medical freedom standpoint, I can tell you that Governor Abbott might go down in the history books as being one of the most effective, conservative, and consequential governors Texas has ever seen. Governor Abbott has done more for the state of Texas and more for medical freedom than any other governor. I'm incredibly grateful for his leadership. Because of Governor Abbott's leadership, we're making Texas healthy again. From a parental rights and parents call the shots standpoint to individual freedoms, as well as rolling back the unconstitutional government mandates, Texans for Medical Freedom has worked with the governor to protect Texans and be the leader for the nation on medical freedom.
Hi, my name is Dr. Joe Koyman. I'm chair of Texans for Life Committee, LifePAC. On behalf of Texans for Life Committee, LifePAC, I'm proud to announce our enthusiastic endorsement of Governor Greg Abbott for re-election. Under Governor Abbott's principled leadership, Texas has become among the most pro-life states in the nation, if not the most pro-life. Governor Abbott has signed the bills to create and fund the Thriving Texas Family Program, formerly known as the Alternatives to Abortion Program, receiving $200 million in the current budget. That program provides a wide variety of services to help a pregnant woman successfully carry her unborn child to term, give birth to the child, and care for herself and her child afterwards. Services continue for 3 years after the birth of the child. In fiscal year 2025, the Thriving Texas Families Program served nearly 150,000 unique clients at 200 sites across the state. This compares very well to the number of elective abortions in Texas before Roe v. Wade was overturned. For example, in 2020, there were 55,000 abortions, or 4,600 each month. Governor Abbott has signed many important pieces of protective legislation, including the Texas Heartbeat Act, to protect unborn babies whose hearts have begun beating. After it went into effect, reported elective abortions dropped by 45 or 50%, 2,000 fewer abortions each month. Governor Abbott also signed the Human Life Protection Act, giving complete legal protection to unborn babies from elective abortion beginning at conception. After that landmark legislation went into effect, reported elective abortions plummeted from 2,600 per month to 0. Yes, 0. Just as Governor Abbott has said, our laws are saving babies' lives and saving women's lives. Doctors continue to perform abortions in rare and tragic cases to save a woman's life at about 10 per month. No doctor has been charged, sued, or sanctioned for any of those abortions. No woman has lost her life in Texas for lack of an exception when the pregnancy threatens the mother's life. Most recently, Governor Abbott continued his leadership by signing the Women and Child Protection Act last summer to address illegal trafficking of abortion-inducing drugs, protecting women from dangerous, unsupervised chemical abortions. We urge every Texan who values the sanctity of life to stand with us in supporting Governor Greg Abbott. Let's continue to work to making Texas a place where every mother is supported and every child is welcomed in life.
Thank you.
I'm Marilyn Musgrave. I'm Marilyn Musgrave with Susan B. Anthony, Pro-Life America. As a former member of Congress, I can tell you I know what it's like to fight tooth and nail for your principles, even when it's hard. And that's why I'm in the great state of Texas today, because you have a governor that has fought tooth and nail for the unborn child, and also to empower women. I love the example of Thriving Texas Families, and put your money where your mouth is in a state with compassion and understanding to empower women and to save those precious unborn children. You know, the Dems and the abortion lobby keep pouring millions and millions of dollars into the state of Texas, but Governor Abbott has led the charge. When you think of his priorities, defending life has been at the top of his list. So we are proud to endorse him. He knows the work is not done. With abortion pills flooding the market, Governor Abbott has led in combating the threat of abortion drugs to unborn children and women. I am happy to be here today to offer our full support. And Governor Abbott, I would say to you that the whole country is better because of your great leadership. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Mary Elizabeth Castle, and I'm the Director of Government Relations for Texas Values and Texas Values Action under the leadership of Jonathan Sines, who is both President and Attorney for Texas Values Action. Texas Values Action proudly endorses Governor Greg Abbott for his re-election campaign for governor. But let me tell you why. As you may know, Texas Values is the largest organization in the state of Texas that stands for religious liberty, pro-life issues, and marriage and family. In my 7 years advocating at Texas Values Action, I can at least attest to the fact that Governor Abbott has proven session after session that he is a leader for faith, family, and freedom. Governor Abbott has signed many pieces of legislation protecting our First Amendment rights of freedom of religion, such as the Save Chick-fil-A law that protects businesses who want to hold their sincerely held religious beliefs in 2019, and also the Churches Are Essential law in 2021. Governor Abbott has also fought courageously for the life of the unborn by signing one of the strongest pro-life laws in the nation, the Texas Heartbeat Law, which Texas Values Action advocated for and championed for in 2021. In the last few years, Texas Values Action has led the way in protecting women and girls from dangerous gender ideology that has forced female athletes to compete against men and all women to share their private spaces with biological men. When the college sports bill was being considered, Senate Bill 15, in 2023, Governor Abbott met with college swimmer and Save Women's Sports advocate Riley Gaines, the president of Texas Values, and myself to prove his support for college women athletes and fairness and express that this bill must get passed. Thanks to his efforts, the two recently signed laws by Governor Abbott, House Bill 229, the What is a Woman bill, and Senate Bill 8, the Texas Women's Privacy Act, truth is restored, and women's privacy and dignity and civil rights are protected. Texas needs a governor who stands up for truth, God's principles, and the people of Texas. This is why Texas Values Action proudly endorses Governor Greg Abbott for governor.
There truly is no governor in this country like Governor Greg Abbott. We are so proud of you, and we are so thankful for all you have done for faith, family, freedom. Please welcome Governor Greg Abbott.
Thank you. A big thank you to Jackie Schlegel, as well as a group that she works with, and that is Texans for Medical Freedom. Thank you to Dr. Poyman and Texans for Life for the cause that you've worked tirelessly on. Thank you, Marilyn, and thank you, Mary Elizabeth. You know, it's interesting, you talk, I can't remember the exact phrase that you use about, but it's about defining what a woman is. We saw a baffling example of the confusion that some people have about this during Senate hearings over the course of the past week, where doctors got up and they would not be cornered and define what a woman is. If you cannot define what a woman is, you don't have any business being a doctor in the United States of America. Amen. Anyway, I want to thank all of the warriors for Texas Values who stand with me, stand behind me, that have been fighting tirelessly in the trenches, making Texas the most value-oriented state in the United States of America.
Wow.
I want to mention the groups who are officially making endorsements today. Before I get to that point, however, I want to mention just a few names. One is we are currently in the House district of David Cook, who is behind me, and who is currently running for Senate, and we're in a Senate district also. Running for his seat is Ellen Fleischman, who's also with us. We also have a couple of a candidate and a candidate for re-election in Tarrant County. We've got Fred Tate and Representative McQueenie. Thank you guys for being here. Let me trace back a moment in time, and that is I've been committed to Texas values my entire life. Growing up in East Texas, the grandson of a preacher, a member of the Troop 201 Boy Scouts troop, the oldest troop in East Texas, I learned the early importance of faith, family, and freedom, and the role that they play in the heritage of our state. Texans believe in freedom over fear, God over government, and the bona fide greatness of our great state. Today, these champions I'm surrounded by reaffirm our collective commitment through their endorsement for my re-election as governor of the great state of Texas. I want to thank the Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America, Texas Alliance for Life, Texans for Life Committee, Life PAC, Texas Right to Life, Texans for Medical Freedom, and Texas Values for their endorsements today. Give it up for them for their great endorsement. Thank you for the endorsement, but also thank you for what you do every single day to protect Texas values. There's a couple of groups or people here with us today that cannot officially make endorsements, but I want to recognize because of the warriors they are. And one is Moms for Liberty. The other is Tim Barton with Wall Builders, both of which do a fantastic job. Bottom line is, collectively, we have championed the values that make Texas great. Just over the past 10 years, going back to what Dr. Appointment was talking about, over just the past 10 years, when I became governor, a 20-week-old baby could be aborted. More than 50,000 babies were killed by abortion every year. That's no longer true. With the laws that I've signed, hundreds of thousands of babies have been saved.
Yes.
And when you look at all of the laws that have been talked about here today, it's really just common sense. Common sense that preserve Texas values, such as the ban on boys and girls sports, the ban of men in women's restrooms. In the codification in Texas, there are only two sexes, male and female. We also banned the horrific gender modification for children. We banned DEI in our public schools and removed sexually explicit materials from school libraries. We also fought to protect individual liberties. This was covered in part moments ago. I signed an executive order banning government from requiring the COVID vaccine. I signed a law banning private employers from requiring the COVID vaccine. We prohibited organ transplant discrimination based upon vaccination status. You should have the liberty and the independence to make your own decision about your own vaccines in the state of Texas. I've also been a defender of the foundational faith that Texas has been imbued in Texas through the entirety of our existence. I'm the Attorney General, who argued the case before the United States Supreme Court defending the Ten Commandments monument that stands on the Texas Capitol grounds. Yes. When an atheist filed a lawsuit trying to tear down that monument, I said, not on my watch will I allow the Ten Commandments to be torn down. I went to the Supreme Court, argued that case, we won that case, and that monument still stands on the Texas Capitol grounds today. This year, we advanced that forward to further explain the historical connection between Texas and the Ten Commandments, and that's why we passed a law to display the Ten Commandments in schoolrooms across the entire state of Texas. One thing we know, however, and that is our work is not done. Defending Texas values against the radical left requires ongoing vigilance. That is what we pledge to the people of Texas. We will defend our culture and safeguard our Texas values from the radicals who want to shove the far left agenda onto the state of Texas, and we are not going to let that happen. We will leave our children and our grandchildren a safer, stronger, freer, and more prosperous future of Texas than ever before in the history of our state, and we're going to do it working to ensure Texas values remain strong. Thank you all. God bless you all, and God bless Texas. take a few questions.
With the winter storm coming up, could you just talk about the grid? I think a lot of people are wondering, is it going to hold? And then second question, what kind of conversations are you having with Encore and Centerpoint to make sure that freezing rain doesn't down any power lines?
So first of all, it's very important for all Texans to understand, we are going to have a severe cold storm hit the state of Texas. It could range from areas that have very cold temperatures to areas that may have a level of precipitation like sleet and maybe even snow in certain regions. This is a time for people to take caution into their own hands. Remember how dangerous it can be if you're driving on a slick ice road. Do not go out and drive on an ice-laden road if you don't have to. Keep your pets safe, keep your plants safe, keep your pipes warm. Take precautions that you can take. Second, this is something that my office, ERCOT, the Public Utilities Commission, the Texas Division of Emergency Management, we're all over this. We're going to be having a press conference tomorrow explaining more, giving everybody an update, talking about what needs to be done. That said, obviously there are discussions with all the power providers in the state of Texas, and especially the entire grid. And Pablo Vegas, the head of ERCOT, said yesterday, listen, the power grid is stronger than it's ever been. Since the Winter Storm Uri, we've added more than 60,000 new megawatts of power. We've added winterization. We've added changes in the way that ERCOT works. We've added strength of the entire system, whether it be through the power lines or where the natural gas is coming out of the ground to make sure that there would be no stoppage of natural gas that gets to where it needs to be to keep the power on. And unlike when Winter Storm Uri occurred, there is now a requirement that every power generator have a second source of fuel available in the unlikely event they don't get access to natural gas. Bottom line, we are in a situation completely different than we were 5 years ago, ensuring that the power is going to remain on. Enjoy what may be a snowy day, have fun, but be safe when you go out and play.
So you're pretty confident then, Governor, that this is going to be, there's enough reliable power generation throughout this storm?
I'm very confident that there's not going to be a challenge to the power grid. There could be, Jack, local temporary outages from one thing, and that is if ice weighs down on a local power line, the one that goes from the power pole to your home. That could mean there could be a home here or there where the power goes out temporarily. It will not be a problem with the entire grid. That said, we were talking about the local power providers. Could be Encore, pick your name. They know what's going on. They have power crews that are ready to respond very aggressively to make sure they get those power lines right back up. If I could add this, there's been something else that's taken place since the prior winter storm, that's taken place since the last hurricane. The power companies in the state of Texas, the power providers in the state of Texas, they've been very aggressive about removing the tree limbs and other foliage like that could often bring down a power line. And so I would expect, because of the trimming that they've been doing over the past couple of years, there is a less chance that ice or something else like that could bring down a power line.
I wanted to ask you about, I know you're talking about your reelection, but there's another election going on today, and that is for this open state Senate seat, Kelly Hancock's old seat, District 9 in Tarrant County. Democrats are all in on this. Their candidates for other offices are helping Taylor Burnett. And so I'm wondering, how concerned are you that Republicans are energized in getting out there to support Lee Wong's, and what are you doing to help in that?
So I'm not concerned. And it does come down to what you say, and that is it's a matter of getting our voters energized. And that's exactly what we've been working to do. This is a voter turnout operation. And so we're working very simply on voter turnout. We know there are more Republican votes there than there are Democrat votes there, and we're going to turn out all of our voters, and Lee's going to win.
Okay, one more question?
I wanted to ask you about, I guess your endorsement today of Nate Sheets may have surprised some people over the incumbent, Sid Miller, for Texas Agriculture Commissioner. Can you talk a little bit about your reasons for that?
Sure. Listen, I've gotten to know Nate. He's a great guy, will do a terrific job, would be a great asset, not to the state of Texas, with the experience that he brings, with the mindset that he brings, and what his vision is for the future of Texas.
Can I ask an on-topic question?
Why? Why do that?
We talked before about the Ten Commandments.
Right.
And that case was just in Fifth Circuit appeals court yesterday in New Orleans, if I'm not mistaken. How confident are you that the state's going to emerge victorious in that case?
So my confidence hinges on whether or not the Fifth Circuit will apply the Supreme Court decision in the case that I want. Because what that case was decided upon was the fact that the Ten Commandments is recognized as historically shaping law and values in the state of Texas. And if it's displayed for purposes such as that, there's no reason for it to be stricken down.
All right, thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome, so deserving.
Thank you. See you in a couple of days. Yes. It'll be cold out.